morning, everybody. And Chris, I'm here. This is Dr. Williams with Christopher, and we are from Cavallo International University, Berkeley College of Law. Chris?
Good morning, Dr. Williams. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm well. It's glad to be here with you again for this edition of our podcast, CIU Berkeley College of Law. What we're talking about today, today's events in the news.
I'm excited because the most recent case that I would like to discuss, or issue, as you would call it that, is basically it spans constitutional law, criminal law, civil law. So it has wide ramifications and far-reaching implications, depending on how the law eventually winds up being decided by the Supreme Court. And I'm speaking of Texas SB 4 law, which is the excuse me, which is the immigration law. So, and this is not meant as political commentary or legal advice or legal commentary. I'm just explaining or giving you my perspective, how it rests and how it looks right now. Basically, once Texas is one of the states that have an issue with immigration, and should I say illegal immigration?
Right.
And basically, it's causing widespread issues across the state of Texas, economically, education-wise, health-wise. It's impacting the state in fiscal as well as other issues.
Mm-hmm.
So what the Texas governor basically did is he had the state legislature pass a law, and he signed into law an anti-immigration, giving the state law enforcement powers, executive powers, to basically arrest, detain, and deport people who were crossing their state borders illegally. And of course, that was initially challenged or blocked by the U.S. District Court. The Supreme Court took up the case and basically said, it's not time yet, what we call ripeness, for us to rule on the merits of the case. Mm-hmm. Let's let the case go through the normal judicial process, and that is through the state challenges, through the federal challenges, and then upon appeal, we will reconsider the merits of the case and whether the state does actually have that authority given to it by the Constitution. Is it an implied power? Is it an express power? And so, dealing with the constitutional aspect of it, they'll take it up at that point.
Well, and that was very interesting when it came up, and I knew you sent that case to me, and I was laughing. I said, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. It's the craziest thing happening. Mm-hmm. But then we knew what would happen because, giving the power of immigration, which falls on the Constitution, gave the power to Congress to be in charge of immigration law, to pass law, enact law, constitutional law, and then, of course, the federal government, the executive branch will execute that. But now they give the state pass a law, and the state they want to enforce their own immigration. So if Congress, you're doing nothing, federal government, you're doing nothing, we're going to start doing it. We're passing our own law. And so what's going to happen? All of the laws that the power the Constitution is giving to Congress and other things, the state now can say, we're going to do it. You're not doing anything. We just, other states will do that. Oklahoma or California, other states will begin to say, well, you know what, you're not doing anything with this. We're going to pass our own law. So what kind of system do we have? So that's why we're saying this is crazy, kids. But then, of course, we knew immediately what happened once the Supreme Court sent it down, say it wasn't right. And then what happened immediately?
Basically said, look, Texas law can go ahead and they initially found that the district court acted in error, and they basically said the state has the ability to enact such a law. We're not going to rule on the constitutionality of the merits of law at this time, but the state is within their right to enact such a law. Sure. Now, let's go ahead and it'll come back to us eventually through the normal appellate process, and that's what they wanted it to do. They, which is excellent for them.
And then, of course, I give our students a chance to see this, right? To actually see how the state actually went to a judge that, we relate to them, and the judge approved of that. And of course, then it went on because they had to be challenged initially to challenge the immigration system that's in Texas. And we understand there's a lot of political things around that, but we got to see our students who follow the practical knowledge, what is involved and other things. And so now we got a person who just came through the border. No one need to go through the immigration process with the federal government. The process is slower. Now instead, we just take them and then charge them with criminals. And so now we got criminal issues that they have to deal with immediately. And
Right.
those are some of the issues that a lot of some of the ramifications the law will bring about. It's still playing out in the court system, right? And of course,
Correct.
Texas is challenging a lot of things because, of course, they have a lot of immigration issues. So we have a lot of things going on. In fact, right after that case, not long after, or just shortly before, right, we got a Justice River, the Chief Justice. They made a decision after attending the conference of legal lawyers. They made a decision about judge shopping, right? Shopping for friendly judges that would take sideways.
Yes.
You can't do that. Now they got to go through a process. Of course, we're looking at it from a legal point of view. Others, when the politician will have different views, but legally, we say have a fair hearing with a neutral judge or so-called, a judge that we call neutral. It doesn't have to be friendly. If you have a real legal business of a case, it shouldn't matter who you take it to. The judge should be able to listen to the case and give fair ruling based on the legal aspect, the constitutional aspect of the case, or other issues that are in harmony with, based on the dispute.
About with our students every week, in our weekly chat groups, they post cases and news events to me, and I post cases and news events back to them that have some bearing and relevance to the weekly material that we're studying, in an effort to show them that the Constitution is a living document. It is a thriving document as a nation of laws and the rule of law. It shows that every situation, every event shapes the foundational governance structure of our country.
Right. And I mean, in our federal court class, of course, we begin to talk about the judicial management, the management of the court system, the judges, and how cases are moved from one jurisdiction to the others, and Congress power to bring about new courts, to establish new courts, and to reassign it in different districts based on the population or the needs that original purpose of the court, and all of those things. And then when you see these things playing out in real time, you see the students get to really appreciate them, because it's like, it's like having a moot trial, right? They get to see these things in real time, and they make
exactly
sure real excited. And there's so many cases, what is election. There's so many cases out there that the students can learn from. And then, of course, we got to teach them how to go through the regular petition, how the case start, the origin of the case, and how it was done, how it was investigated, and how they came to this point. It's that usually when we read a case book, we're reading the information from the court, whether the decision was affirmed or reversed or remanded. All of those things come back and we start to analyze the case. But of course, when we studied the law, teach them law, and they got this real case in lifetime, we see how the case moved from one jurisdiction, how the client, a plaintiff, filed a lawsuit against the state or a group of plaintiffs, and which court they went to. It had to be the right kind of venue, right kind of jurisdiction for the court, and then from there, how the judge ruled. So those step-by-step procedure, they get to see that in real time, in real cases. I mean, the cases we analyze in the case book are really nice too. They're foundational cases, but we weren't talking about the life experience cases that say, this is how you do it, this is how it is done. And then, of course, they write about those things too. Some of them, they write papers, they write experiences, what they learn about the case, and that's extra writing and thing they do doing a way to present and say, this is what we learned, and this is the course, and this information. And so that provide additional clarity and understanding for them. So, yeah. So we will keep doing that method, making sure our students, follow day-to-day cases. It's the academic part, and we're not, it's not politics. And so just teaching our students and anybody that is interested in coming to Berkeley College of Law, they're welcome. And we want them to be active. Law makes you speak freely. of course, you're free now, there are consequences of the things you say. We want, for us here, it's mostly education of this.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, there's another, we come to the conclude, make a concluding statement, and then we can close for the day.
Again, I encourage and we welcome new students to our Park Lake College of Law. We are student focused and student centered, and we look forward to seeing you.
Yes, thank you, Grace. We want students to come join our global community and let them be part of it and see how they can help change the minds of others as they learn this new, how they can be of help to others in the future. Okay, this brings us to an end to this edition. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Williams and
Chris Kempson.
Of Berkeley College of Law. Thank you so much, and see you in our next episode.